Got it.
We so messed up. Okay. All right. Yeah, we got cut off, and I'm going to put that in there that we got cut off.
Damn you, Zoom.
I know.
Blake comes in.
Can you wrap it up right quick? Like, difference between indie and the pros and cons of it?
Yeah, so indie, pretty much what we're saying is it just means that, you're an independent artist. You're not signed to any of the 4 major labels. And it just means that you have to pretty much do it yourself. But yeah, there's definitely pros and cons to it, because obviously a professional studio is going to have trained producers, and it's going to be top-notch everything. But when you do it yourself, a lot of these people coming out, they have no clue how to format a song, and the production quality suffers because they don't know how to mix and master properly. It's just a lot of downsides, and it's become the norm.
And also the promotional vehicle that these major labels.
Yeah, they don't have the same money to push. Yeah, they don't have the same amount of. They have more money to push your product. But even that, I don't see as a huge issue, because record labels aren't taking chances on artists unless they have a certain amount of following anyway. It's like by the time you get a certain amount of following, you almost don't need the record label. You actually probably smarter to just turn their deal down. But people don't know any better, so.
Yeah, I don't see any future for these major labels, honestly. I think they would be like dinosaurs.
I know that the stuff that some of the stuff that we've been watching, though, some people do take the advantage of maybe going with a label just for the backing, backing and the promotion and all that.
Yeah, but a lot of people don't know the negatives to it. They're not thinking it through. A lot of people just they think it's like the 90s, a record label. Oh, that means I'm about to blow up and I'm about to make a lot of money. But that's not the case, because they're not selling records anyway. So they're not gonna invest in you until you prove that you're gonna make money. And once you're proving that you're making money, it's because you're already making money and you don't really need them as much.
Exactly.
People don't think that through, and they're pretty much just signing away half of their earnings. All their hard work just ends up going to those record labels. But I do disagree with you in a little bit, in that I don't see them going anywhere, because there's too many people that are ignorant on the subject. Too many people are desperate for stardom, and they're not thinking, they don't know the business.
I do see a trend. I do see these young kids, they're more schooled, more educated when it comes to contracts and the music business. So yeah, they're more, back in the day, the artists were getting screwed left and right. But slowly you could see, like, going through the 80s and the 90s, artists were being more educated about the music business, taking more charge and taking more ownership of their publishing.
Yeah, it's surprising to even hear today that artists are still doing that.
Yeah. I mean, we don't have that long, but with all the knowledge that you all have now, even having said that, if they came with you with a nice, 6-figure, 7-figure, like, hey, we need y'all's talent, we need to know what's up, it's down this dotted line, we need you for 5 years. Are you gonna yes, no? I mean, not gonna count it out. I mean, what would you do?
So it would depend on the deal. But if I definitely wouldn't do a long deal, it would have to be, something short, like 1 or 2 albums or something like that. So that that's something you can benefit from after you finish with your contract. That definitely will help you. It's just when you're stuck in a contract.
Yeah, the problem is not. That's great. Anybody would jump on an offer like that, right? Money speaks. Money talks, bullshit walks. I think where you need to watch out is the contract. You need to get a lawyer, an entertainment lawyer, and read through it thoroughly, and agree not do a long-term deal. Yeah. Because you could burn yourself by doing that. Maybe do 1 album deal. Yeah,
for me, the type of work that I would like to do, instead of being an artist, would be kind of right behind the scenes. Like, I want to score videos, I want to do sound design, I want to, I even want to write and sell to artists. So like a publishing contract, for those type of things. Yeah, if somebody came to me, which those are being offered a lot, where they're hiring those writers behind the scenes. If something like that came to me, yeah, I would. But yeah, first thing I would do would be getting a lawyer to make sure that I'm getting the right deal.
Yeah, because the last thing I really want to do is work for anybody. I'm happy that I'm self-employed and my own boss. That's one of the biggest perks, is that I control. I'm in control of what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And you lose that control the minute you sign, at least for temporarily.
I agree with you, Jonathan. You want to own your publishing and your masters. When you join, when you're with a major label, they kind of own you. And you have to pay all of that money back. You think that they're rich, they're not. They have to, the machine pays for everything, and you owe them like a loan. And if you're not selling, they will shelf you, and you're not touring, you're not putting anything out, but you're locked into a contract. And so being independent, I understand that it's probably best to start that way. Now you have, like, say, I'm gonna use an artist, a major artist like Taylor Swift, okay? So she brings Shawn Mendes on. Does he go independent or does he go under her wing? That's just what he did. And he was on tour, he's a major artist now. So it really, it depends on who you're under too, who brings you on.
Every situation is not for everybody, and every situation is different. Right. One record label is not equivalent to another record label, and everybody, yeah.
I think record labels too are trying to find a new way to make money, because they can't, people aren't going to sign it. Yeah, they're not going to. A lot of people don't want to get signed because they know they can do it on their own. So yeah, so they're going after the YouTube or the social media where people are using the music for, like, making cover videos or using their music on this and that. So I feel like they're going after that to make some kind of money. I guess the publishing.
Right. Good, less investment on their part, because they don't even have to do the talent scout. I mean, it's the talent scouting, but it's not at the level it used to be, right, Jonathan?
They don't have to travel around.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that was more expensive.
Go on your internet.
Yeah, now they exactly. It's so much. It's cost effective for them, And a lot of these, again, being able to produce out of the box, out of your laptop, a lot of the material could be finished product. They don't even have to invest in having it redone in a studio. Maybe master it, but that's about the extent of it. There's a lot of stuff that just comes right out of somebody's laptop and it's being released.
Yeah, I mean, y'all were great guests. We have some, like, these topics, and I have to come back to y'all again. But real quick, now that you have the old school style, the analog style, and you have this digital style. Which do y'all prefer personally? Would y'all prefer the 80s, 90s vibe? Like, as far as making music, would y'all prefer we go back to that? Or would y'all like this better?
Yeah, we can go back to, I would touch on it, but that's a great subject, and put that in the queue. The digital analog. And it's a big, I know, Jonathan, there's a back and forth about the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, there's pros and cons to both. I mean, the digital is obviously easier to work with. You don't need 20 people to fade a song out, I mean, that's what it used to take back in the day. A whole bunch of people lined up on the board, pulling down individual faders.
Yeah, they grabbed everybody.
You would literally need a team of people to do the simplest tasks.
Even the kid in the studio, right, that did the lunch runs or the coffee runs. Get on the board there, and this is what you got to do when this clock, when the time hits.
Do I want to go back to that? Not necessarily. But I mean, you can't deny the quality. Difference. I mean, it's to a point where it's almost hard to tell now.
But there's two subjects there. What you're talking about, the analog mixing, but there's also that other topic about do we want a digital sound, or do people like digital sound or the analog sound?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So the pro for analog is the quality of the sound. Because that's what I'm saying. The quality of analog sound is not compromised. It's the actual sounds. You can't get any better than recording analog. As long as the equipment is good enough. Obviously, it's harder to get that quality, but the potential for quality is higher. Digital. The moment you make it digital, you chopped it up, and it's already, no matter how good the quality is, it's already, been cut up. Like, it's not the same quality as analog anymore. Doesn't really matter how high that quality is, it'll never reach the potential of analog. That's just the nature of digital.
It's more of a sound thing. I think it's more tone and all that. Like, analog gear is so different from digital because it's always changing in tones because of electronics. I mean, not to get all technical about it, but you can't recreate the warmth. Though the emulation they've been doing with tape emulation recently and everything, with AI and all that, it's pretty impressive. They do these A and B comparisons, blindfolded. And people get it wrong. They're like, oh, that's analog. And it's like, nah, it's digital.
And that sound, just to piggyback on that sound is, people want that sound back. They're trying to get that sound back, where, that old school, like the way they used to record versus the digital sound. And I'm just going to use a group as an example, but Silk Sonic is came back with that retro sound, right? Everybody's like, wow, this retro sound. But then when you really listen to, like, when they first started putting out music, it was too perfect. It's like, if you listen to those 70s, 80s bands that they were emulating, all love to Bruno and Anderson .Paak, but you listen to that music back then, and they were like recording with no metronome, and it was solid and raw and everything. And then you're hearing, Silk Sonic, and it's perfect. I mean, great music, but it was too perfect. You know what I mean? So it was like, you need to like record without a metronome and like put a stale mic on the drum kick or something, like back then, just to get that feeling,
Even with hip hop, lo-fi hip hop is popular.
Yep.
It's very popular. But we all know, at our age group, I guess, but we all know that Wu-Tang was doing that lo-fi stuff. They was gritty and grimy. Mad Lib, MF Doom, these guys was doing that back then and everything, So, I mean, now they have the capability of making it nice and clean and pristine and sound and digital and everything, but everybody wants to go back to that retro sound, that feel.
Yeah, but I mean, the difference is that the lo-fi sound that they got was just a natural recording from analog. The lo-fi now is not even the same thing anymore, because lo-fi is a specific genre now. Lo-fi hip-hop is actually a genre, and it's not always even lo-fi. It's just kind of like laid back, relaxing hip-hop, instrumental hip-hop music. It's not always even lo-fi. Some of it's clean and clear. I don't even call it lo-fi.
Right. They
intentionally, but the ones that they're intentionally adding static and they're adding noise and stuff. It's not the natural analog sound that they're recording from. Yeah,
you're right. I mean, they took the name, the lo-fi term, and created a genre out of it, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's actually low. I mean, it's not. It's digital simulating or emulating lo-fi, but you can easily create with EQing, just knock off the high end.
Yeah.
I mean, we can go on to this. Like, we're definitely going to have you all back because y'all can get into into the week. I'm loving it.
I know, and I could just say, just real quickly, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I'm just saying, Angelo's a big nerd, and I feel like Jonathan's the same. So you guys, I know you guys get along and just talk nerd shit. So I just wanted to say that.
Once you give him about technology, when it comes to studio work and stuff like that, he will start preaching. Sometimes the stuff that he tells me, it sounds like he's speaking German.
We can definitely do this, and maybe y'all can do part 2 and 3 on you all's podcast, Genny, with the Fresh Sisters. Y'all can bring Jonathan on and Shorn on. Y'all can do it on there. Do part 2. But we really appreciate y'all's coming. Appreciate you all coming, and we have y'all's info how to reach out to y'all. Any last words for the last couple of minutes? Say your byes, your waves, your hellos, whatever.
Well, I like to say that if you are dating somebody, just make sure you respect what they do, you give them space, and just have fun with the relationship. And it doesn't always have to be about music. It could be, just anything else, just whatever you love to do together.
Yeah.
Awesome. It has to be more than music to keep you together, right, guys? It has to be more than music, right?
Yeah, great sex,
Great sex. Right, man. Woo.
Jonathan Shorn.
Well, I'm trying to think of what I was going to say, but just have a sort of balance. We because when like work together. We don't have time to do our we don't have time to go out and date and stuff like that because we're too busy working. So make sure you make that time to get our romance, get that spark, where the reason why that you're together. Take that moment to like give us a reflection or go out on a little dinner or date or something like that, and just give us a moment to reflect on why we're together in the first place, you know?
Yeah. Well, we thank y'all for coming. You know, Fred Sisters, thank you. On behalf of me, Nicole Rose, thank you. Shorn, Genny, Jonathan, Angelo, Autumn Rose. Oh, and get our merch, please. Go on fredsisters.com, get our merch. Just put that out there. Got cups, shirts, hats, underwear.
There's new merch out. I just put out new merch. So make sure you check that out.
Autumn, you got any last words? We can get up out of here.
I want to thank everybody for this wonderful interview. It's enlightening, and I'm sure it will help other people that are in the same situation, you know, relationships and having the same type of goals and interests. And so that's awesome. I thank everyone here. Angelo and Jonathan, thank you so much. Ladies, you're awesome. Next one, thank you. And everyone, you know, support Fred Sisters, and you guys, you know, they have their own productions too. And we're looking forward to your music. And we did put up the .coms or the following the social media for both of them. So definitely follow them on social media. Guys, have a great Sunday. Love you guys. Take care.
Thank you. Bye.
Peace.
Bye.